This is Ganeshwaree Ramburruth with my presentation for assignment 1 part B. The first part is addressing feedback. The feedback was to demonstrate a software test platform in more detail. We have the Kali Linux configuration setting with memory 4 GB, hard disk 80 GB, and one network adapter. Next, the meta-exploit table configuration setting with memory 2 GB, hard disk 8 GB, and one network adapter. We need to review 5 network vulnerability scanner. So it's Wireshark, which is a very powerful tool done for packet sniffing, and it also inspects the packet for multiple protocols such as TLS, TCP, SMTP, and others. Its main features include live packet captures, offline analysis, mainly used for analyzing and troubleshooting network traffic, and also flag any vulnerabilities within the system. Next, we have Release Mirror. So it is free and open source tool, and it's very user friendly. And it's popular for assessing web vulnerabilities for web application. And it is a platform independent. And next we have Nikto. So Nikto is an open source web scanner tool perform thorough testing of various components against web servers, and it also flag any outdated version of servers, report any server configuration issues, have a very rapid scanning capability, regularly update its vulnerability database. Nessus Professional, so this is a commercial software, so we do have the free version as well with limited security features, and it allows for remote and local vulnerability check. So we have multiple plugins and functionalities such as web application scanning, malware detection, and system configuration check. More advanced features which include automatic scanning, asset discovery, and detect vulnerabilities and allow for possible remote hacking, and can support several operating systems and does provide countermeasures, risk assessment. And finally, we have NXpose. So this is also a commercial software, and its free version allows up to 32 IP address. It runs on Windows, Linux, and VM devices, and it scans network, web application, databases, and virtual environment. So some of its features include real risk score using standard 1 to 10 CVSS score results. Also does have a powerful reporting tool. So vulnerability database is also updated weekly. So Wireshark is basically a powerful tool that provides useful information, and is very popular among network administrators for its real-time captures and ability to analyze the network traffic offline. It also flags weaknesses in the network. And Nessus UI interface, web interface, so it is intuitive and it is very simple to configure. Virus scan facilitates configuring the network scan and supports the entire vulnerability lifecycle. And lastly, we will be using Nikto, which is an open source tool which can be used very quickly to look for vulnerabilities, and it is quite useful for network administrators to correct system configuration. So first of all, we need to check if Nessus is working, the service is working. So now we can access it via web browser. So the port for Nessus is 8834. So now we can just do a basic network scan. We just type a name, put a description, and put the target IP address. So the target IP address, which is a meta-exploit table. So we just save and launch the scan. The scan is done, and we can see vulnerabilities. So we have 6, which is very high. So we are just, in this case, first one is Apache PHP CGI remote code execution. As you can see the description over here, the output, so, and the risk information, the vulnerability information, and the meta-exploit, with which meta-exploit we can exploit this vulnerability. So we go to MSF console to use this exploit. So we use this exploit multi-HTTP PHP CGI argument inject, display our options where we need to set the remote host, which is a meta-exploit table, and we also set the payload and exploit. So now session is established, so we can access it via shell to open a shell connection, or pwd to see where we are. So we can do a list, and we can see all the directories which are available. So we can modify any of the directories for further exploit. Scenario will be to use Wireshark to intercept FTP traffic. So we launch Wireshark, and here we select our interface for the packet sniffing. So in this case it's EDH1, and we go to our Windows XP. We'll establish an FTP connection between Windows XP to Metasploitable. Check the connectivity between these two devices, and we can see reply. Now we use the FTP command, put the username, which is msfadmin for the Metasploitable device, and the password accordingly. Now we go back to Kali Linux and see, so we can see the protocol, we can see the information, the source, the destination. So we are just going to click on the FTP, follow the TCP stream. And here we can see the username, which is displayed. It is msfadmin, and the password as well. So now we are going to use Nikto, our third network scanner tool. So to do that, we do Nikto -h for host and the IP address of the Metasploitable, and -p for the port. And we specify the port for Tomcat server, which is 8180. So this one, we're going to exploit the Tomcat server, which does have a basic configuration. And so we can see here we have the default account found for the Tomcat Manager application, which is Tomcat username and password Tomcat. And now we are going to use MSF console. So we type search Tomcat to display all the exploit available. So in this case, we are going to use exploit multi HTTP Tomcat MGR upload. Okay, so we show the options, and then we are going to set some parameters. So we're going to set the username found through Nikto, which is Tomcat, and the password as well is Tomcat. So we're going to set the username Tomcat. Then we're going to set the remote host and the local host as well, which is 8180 for Tomcat server. And then we are going to set the payload for the reverse TCP connection. We specify the local host as well, which is this machine, the Kali Linux machine. And finally exploit. So that we will be able to have a shell connection, remote connection. Okay, so we can see the session is established over here. One session is open. Okay, so who am I? So this is the Tomcat 55, and we can similarly list and check all the directories. We can access the root directory as well and see what is present in the root directory. Right, we can as well access the ssh.ssh folder. Okay, so we can just simply edit this authorized key file to have the SSH keys. Right, so this is done. Now we are going to discuss about the weaknesses and the countermeasures. So in the first scenario, we used the Nessus scanner to exploit vulnerability in PHP. So the weakness found is a PHP installation on the remote web server contains a flaw that could allow a remote attacker to pass command line argument as part of a query string to the PHP CGI program. And its countermeasure is to upgrade to latest version of PHP. The second scenario, which is to intercept the FTP traffic. So the weakness here is FTP traffic transmit data in clear text, and its countermeasure is to use SFTP. Third scenario is to exploit the Tomcat Server Manager application. Its weaknesses is its default configuration of Tomcat Apache server, also Tomcat Manager application, which can be used to upload the payload, a .war archive type that contains a GSP application via a put request, and its countermeasure is to use updated version of Tomcat server. So this is the references.